Hello, my name is Paola Castillo, and I'll be answering some interview questions for the job position for motion graphics designer at NBC News for the Telemundo channel. So the first question I want to answer is, what companies, creative products, or brands do you admire the most, and how do they influence your work? So for me personally, I feel like the brand and the product that's called Headspace. There are a mobile app that focuses on creating mindfulness and helping people with anxiety. And this was the first time that I was so I'm a current user of the app, and this was the first time that I was exposed to motion graphics. And they were a really new experience for me because they were able to explain such a complex topic like anxiety and like what's going on in my brain and stuff like that in such an easy way to understand. So after that, I continued working with her. They have some programs and stuff like that to manage anxiety and all that stuff. And I realized that motion graphics had such power over like what the information that can send, the understanding people could have after watching them, and how appealing they were. Like I was always looking forward to like seeing another one. So basically they inspired me to like give a turnaround of what I do and realize that each frame and each work of art that I do can have a lot of power. Then for question number 2, we have, how do you incorporate feedback into your work? And what's the time you receive hard criticism for your work, and how do I approach those changes? So in my current job, we don't actually have such thing as let's say graphic design department, because my boss purposely hires people that basically resemble our target audience. So he believes that if all people, from like staff members, from managers to social media people, all that stuff, we can all collaborate to create designs depending on different areas of expertise. So when it comes to that, they may say, there was this instance where they wanted me to do the design for a feature image for an article that was exposing brands. And they gave me a little mock-up of what they wanted, and I was like, okay, not the best thing that I've ever seen, because it was actually done by an SEO specialist. But I was like, I can see their vision, so let me translate it with the knowledge that I have, the principles of art and design and all that stuff. So when I incorporated those, they wanted a bunch of text on the image. And personally, as a graphic designer, somebody that knows graphic design, I know that we have to communicate those throughout visuals instead of words. At least that's the right thing to do. And because you have an article that's explaining that, you don't want to give away too much information about what's inside the article in the feature image. So when I came back with an image with no text, they were mad. They said, "What's happening? We asked you for this." And I was like, well, let me explain to you guys like what are the creative decisions that I took and why I took them. After explaining to them, they were like, okay, we see, we understand that, so but at least can you have this and this? So we found a middle ground where the client, in this case the company I work for, and I myself were satisfied with the result. And then the last question is, how do I measure the success of my designs? And explain how my success metrics from a personal level would apply to a company level. So when I design, especially motion graphics, I would say that my success metric, or like the indicator that my design was successful, is how much people were able to understand without giving any context or clues beforehand. So if I am able to show a motion graphic explaining climate change in a specific way to my parents or my neighbors, without giving them any context, and at the end I'm like, okay, so what do you learn about this motion graphic, and they're able to tell me the same thing that I wanted to portray, then for me that's a successful design. And that same metrics would apply to let's say if I move them to company level, because basically that's what I want to do at the end of the day. I want to communicate a message, like teach the audience some things, and if I'm able to communicate that visually without maybe with some text, but if they're able to remember something and they're like, oh my god, you make this concept that was complex like easy to understand, almost like you were explaining with apples, because you illustrated this way and you made this way and this had this effect, then for me it's successful. So thank you so much. These were my interview questions, and I would be pleased to work with you guys. Thank you so much.